In the summer of 2011, 15-year-old Seath Jackson met what he believed to be his dream girl in Amber Wright. They were like any young couple. They had their ups and downs, but nobody had any idea how terribly this relationship would eventually end. A devious plot by a group of young people would expose some of the most chilling details ever exposed in an investigation. We would like to send our condolences to the family and loved ones of Seath Jackson. "15-year-old Seath Jackson grew up in Bellevue, a rural town located in Central Florida. The town is a quiet town and doesn't offer young people some of the things that the big cities have to offer. Because of this, many teens have to keep themselves entertained in other ways. For most young people, this could be skating or riding a bike, but for some others, they get involved with the wrong people. Seath Jackson was a popular boy at school, tall and handsome, and he had a large circle of friends. His best friend, William Samalot, would claim they were like brothers, and that Seath would do anything for you. The two started getting into partying, and in turn, girls. At one such party, Seath would gain the attention of the attractive Amber Wright. Amber was also very popular at school, with a large group of friends. The two hit it off instantly and began dating. Amber and Seath were inseparable, spending almost every minute outside of school with each other. Seath's parents, Scott and Sonia, remember them always being together watching TV or playing basketball in the backyard. Seath would often post on Facebook how much he loved Amber. But like any young relationship, however, they had their ups and downs. Their relationship largely consisted of hanging out together and smoking marijuana. The two also had trust and jealousy issues and would fight often, claiming that they thought the other one was cheating on them. Seath's parents felt like Amber was manipulative, but decided to let it go as they felt it was just part of a teenage relationship. While they were slightly concerned, they had no idea the terror and evil that was about to come at the hands of Amber Wright. Amber had decided to break up with Seath in late March of 2011. Their relationship had been very toxic at times, but the breakup would prove to be much worse and a catalyst for the events to come. On March 28th, Seath announced on Facebook that he was single. This caused an argumentative dialogue back and forth between himself and Amber, with many accusations being thrown around. Seath had found out that Amber had cheated on him with 18-year-old Michael Bargo and called her out over Facebook. The arguing went on for weeks, but Seath was now focusing his attention towards Michael, who he believed was the reason the couple broke up. The fact that he was now dating Amber would slowly eat away at the young boy. Michael Bargo and Seath Jackson were known to each other, and they actively disliked one another. Bargo had only moved to Florida 2 years earlier and had gained a reputation as being a tough guy. He had a troubled upbringing with abusive parents and a volatile home life. Michael had moved out from his parents' house and drifted between house to house. He had been arrested previously for robbery and had an active restraining order against him. Friends of his knew he also carried a .22 caliber gun with him everywhere he went. Seath, however, was not afraid of Bargo and was actively trying to challenge him to a fight over Facebook. Seath's friends would also chime in and say that Bargo was going to get beaten up if he would actually come and fight like a man. Bargo spoke amongst his friends about how much he hated Seath, and Amber's half-brother, Kyle Hooper, would agree with him. 16-year-old Kyle Hooper was dating a girl named Alyssa. During the feud between Seath Jackson and Michael Bargo, Alyssa broke up with Kyle over the phone. Kyle went down to her house immediately to confront her and found her in bed with Seath. This would escalate things to a new level. Both sides had threatened physical violence against each other, and Seath had even threatened to burn Amber's house down. After the heated online battle, Seath would eventually find out that Michael and Amber were heading to a party. Seath would make his way down to the party and confront the older Michael Bargo. After a heated argument, a fistfight ensued. Seath would get the better of the older boy, leaving him battered and bruised. He thought that this would be the end of the conflict, but he had no idea the lengths that Michael Bargo would go to get revenge. A popular hangout spot in Bellevue was at a trailer owned by Charlie Eli. Charlie's trailer was the location teens would go to looking for somewhere to party away from the rules their parents would set. Her husband was in jail, so she decided to rent out rooms in her trailer. Justin Soto, age 20, Kyle Hooper, age 16, and Michael Bargo, age 18, would take her up on her offer and take a room each. Justin Soto had juvenile arrest for possession of a weapon on school property, burglary, and battery. Kyle Hooper had fought constantly against his stepdad, who was a drug user, and ran away from home. Michael Bargo became a sort of gang leader for this group of misfits who would meet up regularly at Charlie's trailer. On one such afternoon, Bargo had devised a plan to kill Seath Jackson. In attendance was Kyle Hooper, Amber Wright, Justin Soto, Charlie Eli, and 37-year-old James Havens, a former stepfather to Kyle and Amber. The five concocted a plan to lure Seath to the trailer, with Amber messaging him saying she wanted to get back together. When he arrived, Justin Soto would beat him over the head with a piece of wood, and Bargo and Hooper would drag him into the bathtub where they would shoot him. Bargo was adamant that he wanted to look into Seath's eyes before he delivered the fatal shot, so he knew who did it. James Havens claimed if they carried out the plan that he would help dispose of the body. Their plan was set in place. Now all they had to do was carry it out. In April of 2011, Seath was hanging out with some of his friends playing video games. His friends, however, noticed he was not his normal self. This was because he was still affected by the past few weeks getting over the difficult breakup with his now ex-girlfriend, Amber Wright. However, out of the blue, she had now messaged him and confessed her love for him and that she wanted him back. Amber wanted to meet Seath, but he was suspicious. He thought this might be a ploy to get him beaten up. His friends advised him not to go, that it wasn't worth it, but Seath still loved Amber and wanted to talk to her. He reluctantly agreed to meet her. Amber suggested that they meet at Charlie's trailer. She rang him a short time later and assured him that everything was okay. Seath would leave his friend's house saying that he was going home, and it would be the last time any of them would ever see him again. He would meet Amber, who was with Charlie on the corner near to her house. They both comforted him, telling him it was okay to come back to her house. When he walked into the house, he saw Kyle Hooper, who strangely was friendly with him. Maybe Amber was telling the truth this whole time. As he began talking with Amber on the couch, Justin Soto exploded from the back room and started beating Seath over the head with a piece of wood. Seath got to his feet and began running for the front door. As he did, Bargo opened fire, shooting Seath twice in the back. The young boy, running purely on willpower, ran out the front door and almost to the road before he was tackled by Soto and Hooper, who proceeded to drag him back to the house. He was placed into the bathtub where Bargo was to enact his revenge. Michael would beat the mortally wounded boy further before shooting him several more times. He would then follow up with a shot to the face that would kill the boy instantly. Now they had to dispose of the body. Michael Bargo came up with a plan and broke both of Seath's kneecaps with a baseball bat and hog-tied him in order to fit his lifeless body into a sleeping bag. He then pulled out Seath's teeth with pliers in order to prevent dental analysis. They then pulled the boy into a raging fire they had started in Charlie's yard. For hours, they started drinking and laughing, while the boy's body was reduced to ash and bone fragments. The following day, James Havens would help the group in disposing the rest of the remains. They would shovel the ashes and bone into empty paint cans and then throw them into a nearby quarry lime pit with cinder blocks attached to them. He'd then return to help them clean up any bloodstains left around the house with bleach. Seath had always contacted his parents if he was going to be late, and they hadn't heard from him all night. They knew something was wrong, so they contacted the police. Police immediately went to the media and advised people to be on the lookout for the young boy. While at home, Kyle Hooper was watching a news story on his disappearance, and his guilt was overwhelming him. He confided in his mother about what happened. claiming he just watched and was innocent. But she later called the police and informed them of what happened. Police descended on the location, arresting Kyle, Justin, and Amber. Michael Bargo had slipped town with Havens, but both were located and arrested the following day. A multitude of DNA evidence was gathered, from blood evidence to bone fragments to Seth's teeth that had been pulled out. Kyle was the first to confess to his role in the gruesome murder, claiming he had Seth over the head with a wooden stick. Amber was also questioned and claimed that Seth had knocked on the door of the trailer and asked her if they could talk. She agreed, and Kyle suddenly came bursting into the room. Her and Charlie then ran into the room where they heard the gunshots. They hid in the room for the entire night, only to come out the following day to the strong smell of bleach. She claimed she had no knowledge of the murder plot. Police would leave Kyle, Charlie, and Amber in a room together where they had no idea they were being recorded. The conversation the trio would have would leave investigators speechless.
So, we've interviewed Amber, Charlie, and now you can't now. I know you're lying to me. I'm sorry, guys.
He's not gonna wait for me. Well, I'm terrified.
I am too.
Because I'm actually going to an actual jail. And then an actual prison. It's no like juvenile.
Well, I'll probably be going.
You can't, you're 15.
Yep, they can trial me as an adult because I actually hit.
And I even said if they don't do anything, if like they don't do anything about us with us, then we're gonna have to watch our backs.
Well,
with anybody.
With everybody.
You know how many people are gonna hate us for this? People that don't even know us are gonna be looking for us if we get out of this.
why?
There's a 15-year-old kid murdered.
Because of us.
Do you honestly think people want to be around that? Do you think people think there's those kind of people are supposed to be here?
Yeah, but it's not our fault.
Hell, I don't even like the kind of people, and I'm one of them now.
I don't
And I
even.
didn't even do anything.
Can you tell us anything what's gonna happen to
Yep,
us?
I sure can, and I will. Just in 1 second, just let me go back and tell him what she said. What shirt did you have on? This is the story. You're an adult, correct? Juvenile and juvenile, correct? Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
You two are under 18 and you're 18. You're all going to be booked with first-degree premeditated murder. You two will go to the Juvenile Assessment Center. You will go to the Marion County Jail. Okay? Take a deep breath. You'll have no bond. You won't be getting out.
How many years?
Oh, honey, this is not. Listen to me. Everybody, just take a deep breath.
Like, well, since we really didn't do anything.
No. See, but you did.
Yeah.
First of all, let's get over that hump right now, okay? That we really didn't do anything because everybody's complicit here. A person died. A person was murdered, okay? We all knew about it. We all planned it. We were all involved in getting it done. So let's hop that hurdle first, okay? Let's man up to the fact that, damn it, this was a pretty heinous crime and we all had something to do with it. Now we got to deal with what will happen to us from that, okay?
Yeah, well, it was like the fact, like, I know I was scared because Mike had a gun and I was
You know what? Stop it. Do you think we haven't been listening to everything you guys have been saying in here? Are you that stupid, really?
I know.
And just stop. Because I don't even, lying to me just makes me just, ugh, I hate it.
I wasn't lying.
Oh, yeah, you were. You lied about a few things. But anyway, that's what's going to happen.
James Havens was also arrested and then bailed, only thinking about how this affected himself.
Well, I left. I thought it was a joke because, I don't know what to say because I'm looking at a lot of years right now. I'm scared. I don't have a freedom now. I've lost everything now.
What about the 15-year-old who's dead and was mutilated?
He lost his life too.
Michael Bargo was also interrogated and charged. All of the juvenile participants in this evil plot were charged as adults. Amber Wright, Charlie Eli, Kyle Hooper, and Justin Soto were all found guilty of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison. Kyle Hooper would be resentenced in 2014 and will be eligible for parole review after 25 years. Amber Wright will also be eligible for parole review after 25 years. Charlie Eli's original sentence was overturned, and she took a plea deal for second-degree murder and a sentence of 10 years. She has since been freed from jail and is apparently married. Michael Bargo pled not guilty. Bo was convicted of first-degree murder and was given the death penalty, making him the youngest person on Florida's death row. He would appeal this several times, but the conviction was upheld, and he, to this day, still sits on death row. It's almost unfathomable to think that a group of teenagers could come up with a plan as evil as this, and to have adults actively aid them in this is also beyond comprehension. And that wraps up today's case. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, then check out one of these 2 other videos on screen that you may find interesting. We look forward to bringing you another worst case very soon.